The peace and quiet in the small town of Edna in Texas was destroyed when a reckless crime took a young, innocent life. It all began when Lizabeth Medina, a 16-year-old young lady, met a tragic end in the very place where she should have felt the safest, her own home. Her life was suddenly cut brutally short, and her sudden death put her family, friends, and community in shock, pain, and disbelief. Today, let us dive into the darkest corners of this murder case and piece together what truly happened during the night that would change Lizabeth, her family, and the town of Edna forever. 16-year-old Lizabeth Medina was known for her sweet smile and contagious energy. She was a beacon of hope and joy in her community. She was a happy and motivated teenager and a beloved daughter to her mother, Jacqueline.
When I would watch her, I would just see her face glow.
Lizabeth had a bright future waiting for her. She had a lot of dreams and plans of going to college. People close to her always talk about how her face showed excitement whenever she talked about her plans for the future and the possibility of visiting new places and meeting new people. Lizabeth was the life of the party. She was a team player as a cheerleader, and her cheerleading squad remembers her as someone who motivates, supports, and always pushes everyone to do their best. According to her peers, she had a way of making someone believe in themselves.
She said, "We're gonna get to the finals this year, Mom." And I said, wow, she was happy.
Her potential and vibrant personality was something people who know her always think about, and her impact on everyone's lives was undeniable. Lizabeth was a young lady who had dreams she carried within her and led a life that inspired a lot of people. As Lizabeth's star continued to rise and become brighter, a dark shadow was lurking behind. The peace of the small town of Edna, Texas, started to be plagued by unsettling events that seemed to be the prelude to the nightmare that was coming. Burglaries started to disrupt the tranquility of the town, and some items started disappearing from homes, including that of Lizabeth and her mother, Jacqueline. The series of mysterious thefts happening in the community put everyone on the edge, especially Jacqueline. She was a vigilant person, and now that there is an invasive presence in her home, she can feel a threat looming closer to her and her family. But because there is no evidence to pursue, the burglaries became a mystery, and it became a message that someone was disturbing their safety and privacy. Aside from burglaries, the neighborhood also experiences odd happenings, like shadows flitting through backyards, as well as unfamiliar cars roaming the streets. Security and surveillance intensified, hoping to find and catch the intruder that was ruining the peace of the community. Cameras around the area managed to capture the image of a silver Ford Taurus, with its suspicious presence tormenting everyone. A man hidden in mystery, Rafael Romero, crossing paths with Lizabeth Medina, was a series of missteps. His arrival at the town of Edna was unremarkable in hindsight, but his intentions were dark. Rafael did a lot of transient jobs and avoided building relationships with other people. Even with the community in Edna, he was not there to be with family or make friends. He was there to commit a crime. He was a man drifting along the edges of the society, and nobody knew about his ill intent until it was too late. How Rafael met Lizabeth was not a direct contact, but rather like a predator stalking his prey. They have no friends in common that will introduce them to each other, so Rafael's interest in her is rather curious, calculated, and cold. It seemed like he just chose her randomly, and Lizabeth became the unfortunate victim for no reason at all. Now remember the silver Ford Taurus that was captured in the surveillance footage? That car was owned by Rafael Romero, and it was seen roaming around close to the Medina residence. He was even seen around the area during the times when Lizabeth would be alone, which meant that he is most likely familiar with the schedule and lifestyle her and her family leads. The darkest chapter in Lizabeth Medina's life happened on December 5th, 2023. The day began like any other, and nobody knew that the events of this day would change the fabric of Edna, Texas. During this day, Lizabeth was supposed to be performing with her cheerleading squad at a Christmas parade in a nearby town. But for some reason, Lizabeth did not arrive. Her unexplained absence became the first sign that something was terribly wrong. The parade progressed without her, and the event went on like normal. But deep down, confusion and concern is growing among her friends and family. Her disappearance from the Christmas parade is definitely out of character since Lizabeth never missed a cheerleading event. She is not answering calls as well, which makes everyone afraid for her safety. When evening came, the tragedy began to unfold completely. Jacqueline Medina, Lizabeth's mother, who returned home after searching for her daughter, was welcomed by a scene that is certainly every parent's worst nightmare. When she entered the bathroom, she discovered Lizabeth in the bathtub. She was unresponsive, and her body was showing evidence of a violent attack.
Nobody ever wants to see their child in a bathtub the way I found her. Nobody. The curtains were closed, so I didn't see her, but when I opened those curtains, I just want justice for my baby.
At 7 p.m., emergency services were called, and not long after, police filled the apartment complex. Sadly, first responders declared Lizabeth Medina dead at the scene, breaking her mother's heart. The community was now left shocked as the news spread, and an investigation started immediately. Using the timeline of events that day, surveillance footage, witness statements, and forensic evidence, the police were trying to piece together what happened to Lizabeth. While the journey to justice is ongoing, the community was plunged into mourning, the call for justice echoing in every corner of the small Texas town. Lizabeth's murder shocked and rattled the small community in the town of Edna, Texas. Everyone was feeling sorrow and disbelief as the entire town grappled with the fact that a young life had been taken away from them in a very tragic way. The impact of this crime was palpable, and the grieving Medina family shared their heartache with everyone in the town.
I'm sorry I wasn't there to protect her. The most beautiful feeling at this moment, knowing all the people that support my baby and all the lives that she's touched so far.
Following the tragedy, the people of Edna gathered to honor Lizabeth's memory. There were vigils held for her, where residents, classmates, friends, and family members came together to grieve the loss of a wonderful young lady and to call for justice. As candles were lit and flowers filled the place, Lizabeth's life and dreams were shared and reminisced. The picture of a good friend and kind daughter showed only part of how wonderful Lizabeth is. And, unfortunately, such a young life has been cruelly snatched away.
I can't describe. I'm feeling terrible, tore up. I just can't describe feeling right now.
Everyone was also united to express their outrage towards the senseless murder, and the people were desperate for answers. Because of this crime, the community's sense of safety and security has been shattered, and everyone is on edge, afraid that the crime might happen to their own children as well. The strong call for justice is there, and everyone is determined to make sure Lizabeth's death will not be in vain. A lot of people offered help and support to Lizabeth's family, from fundraisers that help with the funeral costs to support groups that offer counseling to those who are greatly affected by the tragedy. During the Medina family's darkest hour, empathy became the beacon of light. Because of Lizabeth's murder, a discussion on safety also began. In the wake of the tragic murder, the small town of Edna was transformed. The quiet and unassuming town was rattled by a loss of life, and everyone has a renewed resilience and determination to seek justice and prevent this tragedy from happening again. The investigation into Lizabeth's death involved rigorous police work and advanced forensic science, intending to reveal the truth and hold whoever did it accountable for the crime they committed. Lizabeth's mom, Jacqueline, is not going to stop until she gets justice for her daughter.
I just know a mother should never go through what I went through and how I seen my baby. I won't have peace within my heart or my mind until those people or whoever did it is put away.
Once the police pieced everything together, Rafael Romero's name emerged as he was identified through the surveillance footage. He was acting suspiciously around the neighborhood, and the silver Ford Taurus he was driving close to the Medina residence linked him to the crime scene and set the stage for a deeper investigation into his connection with the murder. The police also made use of the forensic analysis of the DNA evidence taken from the crime scene, which helped solidify the case against Rafael. Forensic materials like fibers also further connected him to the crime, along with his erratic behavior and eventual confession. The legal proceedings that happened after Romero was arrested became a battle between the prosecution's presentation of evidence and the defense's attempts to cast doubt on the investigation's integrity. He was charged with first-degree murder, and he faced the law as the prosecutors advocated for the maximum penalty as a consequence of his crime. The trial is still ongoing. The people remain united in their call for justice. For Lizabeth's family, this trial is their way to get justice and their pathway to closure for a life that was unjustly taken away from them. This quest for justice, unfolding in the courts of Texas, continues to resonate through the town of Edna. Lizabeth Medina is more than just a victim in a tragic case. She was a daughter and a friend whose presence brightened lives around her. As she was laid to rest, her life full of dreams and future filled with promise is now gone. Her life story, marked by a senseless and tragic end, is a reminder of how fragile and short life is, and how violence ruins families, dreams, and lives. Her dreams and aspirations let us look beyond the loss and help us protect that potential in every young life who is deserving of a chance to shine, to love, and to dream. What are your thoughts or theories about the Lizabeth Medina case? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. And don't forget to check out our channel for more gripping crimes and mysteries. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next one.